Brakati Yahawah, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahawah, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahawah, Brakati Yahawah, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim Chakutash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, Yoakim to Zadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled Show Me, Don't Tell Me. Show me, don't tell me. What inspired this lesson? Well, after camp, the apostles were discussing an individual that has been with us, Great Millstone, for a relatively good amount of time. And for whatever reason, he started in his mind thinking evil thoughts about the apostles or what have you, and didn't discuss it, and then everything he built up. In fact, Bishop Ayatollah, I was watching this video this morning. He did a video talking about being a real man will stop that bitch assness, which is pretty much you have to discuss and talk to a man directly. You know what I'm saying? At an opportune time, you use your discretion, but you shouldn't be bottling in your emotions. But the Apostle Elder Gabar kind of makes you, he was like putting it out there, kind of like, we salute so many different individuals that we don't even know what a man is thinking. And he pretty much asked us, look, straight up, he pretty much told us first, look, if you don't believe in this thing, truly, if you don't, just don't show up next week. Secondly, he asked us, do you guys truly believe what you're a part of? Of course, we all said yes. We're not going to say no, but Apostle Elder Gabar's response was, yeah, a lot of you guys don't believe, but that's coming from a place of experience. You got to understand, the apostles didn't seen 50-man camps dwindle down to 2. You know what I'm saying? So, and time has shown that. Time has shown a lot of people that said double honors to the apostles 1 minute and then cursing them the next. It's just pretty unfortunate, But you become calcified to it. You understand that it's a part of the scriptures. But when the apostle was saying that, what was coming to my mind was, I'm not going to shout yes. I'm going to just show. I'm going to show you how about Shem. I'm going to show my faith through my works. That was in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that was in a lot of brothers' mind. Like, you know what? We're just going to, Lord willing, just ask you how about Shem Yahshai, Babukashah. Let me show my faith, Lord. Let me show my faith. And one thing I had mentioned that post-camp discussion was, brothers got to be doing shows during the week, man. And that guy that fell off, Satan got his mind. He was just showing up, but no shows during the week. That's why are we doing that, bro? I mean, I don't get it. You should have a godly fear, a godly guilt about you, and that should never go, no matter how long you're in the truth. You should never get complacent. You should never get comfortable. And that's a show of your works. So with that said, this is the book of James chapter 2 verse 17. Even so faith, if it have not works, right? Yeah. I believe. No videos getting put up. Then do you truly believe? You know what I'm saying? Do you truly fear the Lord? Do you truly care about your pasture? Your flock? I always say this. I see my channel as a pasture. And I have to make sure that whoever's listening is constantly fed. I don't give a hell if you're doing the same shows over, you're doing the same basic breakdowns. You never know a new flock is coming, and you got to teach. First of all, to work on your own salvation. And that's what shepherds do. You see? It says, it have not works, it is dead, being alone, right? So we can't just be like, yeah, apostle, we believe. That's a part of it. You truly believe in your heart. But you got to show first and foremost to Yahweh by Shem Yahshai that you believe by putting together your lesson, putting your lessons first, committing to that, man. All right, during the week, not just, well, I'll say this much, going out on Saturdays alone is not even the bare minimum. The bare minimum is going out on Saturdays and doing your 3 shows a week. That's the bare minimum, okay? So the guy wasn't even doing that. 18, it says, yea, a man may say, thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works. So we should be putting up praise that Yahweh Bashim Yahshai put the Spirit in us to show forth our faith. How you do that? Teaching. And other things too. Being a charitable brother, being a good mentor, and a listener at the same time. You know, you have to be really good at receiving information. You can't just be discounting when the brother tells you, maybe because you might be in the truth longer. You don't want to be like that, man. You know, you always want to be receptive, you know, because we're being leaders in this thing. You be receptive. You know, you don't want a man voice to not be heard, because you know what happens if a brother comes to you and he says something to you, just shut him down right away. What happens is that man might have a good idea, a good suggestion, but he's not gonna want to say it because he's like, this guy's just gonna shut me down. You know what I'm saying? So being receptive, you know, showing those leadership qualities that's found in the scriptures, being brotherly, you know what I'm saying, praying. You know, you got to do these things. You know, if you're struggling with praying, what I personally did was I set an alarm. I got an alarm 3 times a day to remind me to pray. You see what I'm saying? Self-reflection. One thing you can't be is too humble, man. So there's a lot of times we go off, you look back, guess what we had on us? A pride demon. Like, damn, man, I was fucking proud, man. Salakia, how about you, man? I shot the water for humbling me. You see what I'm saying? So it's these things you gotta actually work on, and not just say I'm gonna work on it, or say this or say that. You know, as they say in the world, actions speak louder than words. And it's the same with the Lord. He wants us to show our actions. All right? Mean what I say what I mean. James 2:26. For as the body without the spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Yeah, that makes me think about this one dude that was all wrapped up in his job. He was always wrapped up in his job, man. He stopped coming out to camp. I gotta work. Nigga, get a different job. This should be your first work. You know? Like, you gotta really think, and yet this is why I'm saying it shows that you don't believe when you do shit like that, because it's like, if you truly believe the Lord is coming back, then you know I can't tell the Lord, Salaki, Lord, I didn't teach because I had to work. You wouldn't tell the Most High, his son, that, right? If you believe. But if you don't believe, if you think this is just another thing, you're gonna put whatever first before the Most High. You know? Matthew 7:21, I'm going to read on down to 27, Lord willing. This is a red letter, Yahushua speaking. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. So, just saying Yahushua alone doesn't mean you're part of the elect, because we can see numerous people done fell out, went back in the world, you know, forsook this thing, and they did have the name Yahushua. So this really comes down to election, and you can't make yourself be a part of the elect. That's really the scary part. That's the real humbling part about it. It's like, you can't say I'm gonna be of the elect. You know, it's really up to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, because Yahweh Shem Yahushua could bug you out, which is a terrible thing, man. It's a fearful thing. You know, this truth is, you know, your mind gotta really be ready, bro. You know, and the Most High is gonna test you time and time again, and fortify your mind. But he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. You gotta do the will of the Heavenly Father, man. You have to do the will of the Heavenly Father. You gotta see things too, like spiritual, like, you know, talking about this whole 3 shows a week thing, right? The Spirit of the Lord got on the apostle. It's hard to say that, man. And bring that decree out in Great Millstone. You gotta do a minimum of 3 shows a week, man, which is very attainable. You know, there's so much hours during the fucking week. It's not like you're working 3 jobs. You see, you can work 2 jobs and get your shows in. You see what I'm saying? It's just really, what do you prioritize? You know, it says, into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? See, look, I had the name. In thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Damn. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So, as you can see, it's very much this is how the Lord is. It's how you finish. You know, that's going back into Ezekiel. The Lord really cares about sticking the dismount. What do I mean by that, right? Let's take Simone Biles, like Olympic athlete. Jake, she's top of the top, right? Imagine she has a killer routine, and all these flips, hitting all these great moves, and she's running up to hit the dismount, land and break her leg. All you gonna remember is, damn, that bitch broke her leg. You gonna remember how the fuck it ended if she ended up fucked up. All that wonderful tricks and shit, you remember that? Just like my man Cam Newton. Cam Newton had a wonderful career in the NFL, but all they talked about is why you ain't jump on that football during the Super Bowl. Why you didn't finish? You see, he still can't live. He said it himself. He was like, that's my biggest regret. All them 4,000 plus yard season, MVP, nobody really. It's like when you talk about him, why you ain't jump on the football? So it's the same thing with the Lord. Like, you did all these things, but why you ain't finish? That's gonna loom over your head. You see, so we don't want to go in the kingdom with any type of shame and, you know, damn, I turned my back on the Lord. And you don't want to go in the kingdom like, you want to go in the kingdom with that honor, man. For you to go in the kingdom with the honor is how you finish. How you finish, brother. And we gotta finish, Lord willing. 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these saying of mine and doeth them, I will liken him. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock, having a solid foundation, right? You know, I uploaded, you know, Blast from the Past. Put up a lot of those documentaries we did back in 2013, 2014, 2015, you know, shooting with the Sigma and the f 1.8 aperture lens, you know, and that was for its time. That was for its time. But one of those documentaries we put up was Soldiers of Faith Attributes, okay, which was the second documentary. Soldiers of Faith Straits was the first one, and then it was Soldiers of Faith, and we did attributes. And we go into certain of the attributes you have to have a man of the Lord. And when you watch it, you know, the elder brother Amon Gabal, he put a lot of fallouts, and it was so true. That documentary was put up in around circa 2014, I would say. And a little over 11 years, you see a lot of individuals gone. You see a lot of individuals that was once amongst us gone. And they were saying that, look, you know, these were the particular attributes or foundations that you should have, but they didn't retain them. You know? So you really got to be rooted and built up in this thing, man. Always reverting back to your basics, basic scriptures, basic characteristics of what it means to be in a man of the Lord. You know, when they mentioned diligence in that documentary, they mentioned the name, you know, forgot what else, but the diligence part. It says, therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. Right? A Bishop Ayathan had mentioned too, like, you look at those beachfront houses when they're like all type of storms and shit is coming against them, they're on these wooden pillars that's deep into the earth. He also mentioned Esau's bridges that, you know, you cross over the water, the foundation is very deep into the earth. So when things come up, hit it and it might shake, but it doesn't fall. So that's how you got to be with this truth, rooted and built up in these scriptures, man. You know, for example, if you were rooted in the scriptures, you wouldn't let the sun set down upon your anger. You wouldn't have secret love. You know, if something is in my mind, me personally, I'm like overthinking. I call a brother, I'll just be, you know, boom, boom, boom. A lot of times you just overthinking, and you like, oh shit, well, you know what, look, I was just calling to just make sure, because I don't want nothing in my mind and shit. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't communicate, when you don't communicate, you're just going to think the worst. You see? 25. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house. That's you, that's us. You know, all these type of shit, hell, these different types of things to try to cast you out the truth, your mind. The demons talk to you in your own voice, in your mind, telling you all types of perverse thoughts and stupid shit, and discouragement, depression, doubt, all these shit, you know, just try to fuck with you. Outside factors. It's a very rigorous thing, but I love it, honestly. I'm not gonna lie, because I know it's building up my character, and that's what it's doing for us. So these things beat upon the house, right? and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Yahushua, man. And the Lord has given us examples, the apostles, man. All right, the Lord has given us the apostles that have been through a lot. Apostle Tahal going on 40 years in this truth, man. Didn't seen it all. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be very hard to surprise that man. You know, like, you know, I know the recent individual that you know, he got zapped, whatever. A lot of brothers were attached, right? And it'll be easier for some brothers to get over it than others. But I know the apostles, it was like, you know, been there, done that. You know, I know that, bro. I remember one time after camp, this is what Apostle Tahal was telling us, man. He was like, and certain brothers might not remember this because it was many years ago, but he was like, after about 20 years, you could kind of trust the guy. So I was like, damn, you know? So, because they see it before. A guy being in this thing 20 years, and next thing you know, they talking shit about you, or they forget. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really, you're really going to be super tight. 100% trust is going to really be there when we on the chariots. You see what I'm saying? Until then, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? You be brotherly with an individual, but if Satan get him, you know, that you can't really get all in your feelings about that shit. At some point, you become more calcified to it, and you say, look, what can I do? I just got to keep teaching. You know? It's up to that man to see what he's going to do. Is he going to repent? Is he going to go out and teach? Or is he going to continue being a demon? I'm not going to dump in that water to try to save anybody, because that's not my lot. That's not my job. That's Yahushua's lot. You see? At his particular test. 26 says, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. Right? You're not doing it. You don't have a foundation. You see? So you gotta do it. Saying you just believe alone, and you have the ability and capability to teach, and you know, you should be teaching. 27, because there's lots to this thing. You know, different brothers got different lots in this truth. Will you have individuals that look up and believe and be saved? Hell yeah, that's in the scriptures. Those brothers that come in the 11th hour. But guess what? You're not in the 11th hour right at this moment. Right at this moment, if you have this truth and you in this thing calling yourself an Israelite, you should be teaching. You should just be like, I'm just going to look up and believe and be saved. Nah, man. You see? Every man come in this thing at this particular time with this particular lot, man. You know? And right now, we have been called to be teachers. You see? Warn people of what's to come. It says, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Damn, so that's a guy that's not rooted, built up, man. You know? And faith was one of the attributes mentioned in that documentary, Soldiers of Faith Attributes. Faith was one of the things. So you gotta have faith. But you also gotta show your faith via diligence, man. Being consistent. You know? 15, if you love me, you know, love somebody, you say, you like, look, I love you. Keep my commandments. If you love me, show me. Show me in actions. You know, and that's really what I wanted to get into in this lesson. We just, hey, show it. You know, don't tell it, just show it. You know? Come out there diligent. When it's not Saturdays, guess what? I'm still being diligent. I tell myself, if I'm going to the gym, I gotta do a video. There's no way. Because if I go to the gym, that means I've made time for the gym, but I can't make time for the word of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So, you brothers that know me off the camera, yeah, you know I'm very adamant and strict about my workout regime. So, I gotta be the same with the Lord's work. You know, if you could put in hours in the gym, you tell them you can't put in 10, 15 minutes to a video? That's just fucking excuses. That's all that is, bro. That's all that is excuses. So you're either going to be a man of excuses or you're going to be a man of action in this word. 1 John 3:18 says, 1 John 3:18 says, my little children, let us not love in word let us not love in word, neither in tongue, but in deed and in truth. You know, motherfucker can say I love you, and stab you in the back, man. You know, the actions is what shows. You know, and harping back to that statement I was making about, you know, the lots and the time period we were given. You know, when I uploaded that video with the Passover documentaries we did, you know, what came to my mind was, I was like, wow, you know, 2015 was really the last time the apostles said, you know, we were getting together as a group into one particular venue, and we did the Passover. After that, order gave out. 2016, year of the push. Remember that GMS 2016, year of the push? We did Passovers on our own. And when we would get together on the Passover, that's when the apostle would give brothers ranking positions. And the last time the apostles did that was 2011. So the last time the apostles gave out rank in New York, at least, I'm pretty sure after the 2011 you had different brothers come up in different states and was appointed camp heads and these things, but the last time officially the apostles did that was back in 2011. Whether you were made a captain over 1,000, a captain over 5,000, or 10,000, that was the last time it was done. And what's very interesting about that is that was 2011. So the longest you could have been in the truth at the time was 5 years, assuming you came in that 2007 YouTube era, right? The YouTube era brothers coming in, right? So the most you could have been in the truth was the max 5 years. But you were given a very high position. You were given a ranking position to, you know, from the apostles, at the time being called elders. And you look at it now, you have brothers that has been in this thing 5 years or more, and the Spirit didn't get on the apostle too hard to dish out any ranking thing. And I want to make a point, I'm not saying ranking gonna mean you're gonna be saved, obviously not. You know, just had a higher ranking dude just bug the fuck out. But I say that to say this, that was a heavy thing. I didn't see it at the time, but I'm like, you know, because I was very young in the truth, you know. I started listening in 2010 and in 2011. Well, listen, my cousin told me about it in around circa 2008, 2009, 2010. I started going out there, and in 2011, my first Passover, the apostles appointed us ranking officers, whatever you have. But I was thinking that was a very spiritual thing, because you have brothers that's in this thing now that's been in it longer than the equivalent of us, because I'm saying you have brothers that's been in this thing north of 5 years, and the apostles haven't done that yet. And I say that to say this: we have a responsibility, you know. Those brothers that was amongst that lot, to be leaders, to put up our videos, all right, to guide the younger men the right way. And that's not something that should be taken for granted, you know. And the guy that, you know, was no longer amongst us, you have to see it that way. You know what I'm saying? You have to see it that way. Like, yo, the Lord gave me a huge responsibility, and I should take that serious. I should never get complacent. I should never just be like, oh well, that was just a thing. Nah, that was the Spirit of the Lord, man. You see? That was the Spirit of the Lord. So you have to consider that and take it very, very seriously. And you have to be really like, as this, you know, you got to be a good role model, a good example. You know, you have to really put in your mind, like, when we were coming up, look at the example that the well, now called bishops, that you know, those the elders who became bishops were like pretty much the examples they were setting for us. They were diligent as fuck, still diligent. You see, so the way the Lord got us, like, we now in that role for these brothers, and we got to show that same diligence, that same example of those same good leadership qualities. And you younger brothers that's below us, I'll say this too, you have to show respect too. You know what I'm saying? Like the same respect we showed our elders at the time, now bishops, you have to show it that same respect, okay? To your current rank in office, man. You know what I'm saying? Because respect should be a very big thing in this camp. You know, and I'm not just saying respect a man just because of his rank. You got to show respect to all brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? To all brothers. So it's a heavy, that was just something I was thinking about, man. The Spirit just had me thinking about that. Like, I was like, yo, that's heavy. You got to take this thing serious, man. And that level of respect has to be, we have to mimic how we came up, our elders, and you younger brothers have to show that same amount of respect that we showed to our bishops. Because look, it goes, our elders and bishops, because it goes a long way, man. It goes a long way. Because just like the Bishop Ayathun said in his video, man, you start thinking fucked up shit about the Lord's men, the Lord take that shit personally, man. Especially like saying, wishing evil things upon the pot. Man, you bugging, bro. The Lord take that shit personal, man. You see? So I know I went all over the place a little bit, but I pray you brothers are edified, man. We at the very end of this thing, man. That's the fact that all this shit is happening too. Lets us know that we're approaching the end, man. You know, a lot is happening. A lot is happening. So you gotta hold tight this truth, hold fast this truth, and do everything, Lord willing, to make your calling and election sure. Like giving diligence, man, having faith, all these different things. I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'Hashem Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopefully elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim, that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.